Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a great week. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And I am super excited to share with you today these 3 cute projects featuring the new Pleased as Punch Designer Series paper from Stampin' Up! Now, I'm going to apologize right off the top for this video being in portrait mode. I fully appreciate that it is much easier to see when it is in landscape. However, I am having major issues with my Facebook Pages Manager app, and I did an update on the weekend. My phone does not like this new update, and the Pages app is not working the way I want it to. Hi, Heather. Oh, you made it. Awesome. I hope you had a good golf game. So anyway, please forgive me for the portrait orientation. I've sent every possible problem notification to Facebook that I can come up with to try and get a solution to this. But in the meantime, portrait it is. So I will try to stay in this narrow little area so you don't miss anything that I'm doing. Hi, Deb. How you doing? Hope you are good. I am trying to watch my video here on an iPad as well so that I can make sure that I'm staying in the area that I need to be in. So let me just... there we go. Okay. So now I can see what I'm doing and make sure that I'm doing this correctly. Hey, Tamara. Oh, you're struggling with it too. I'm glad it's not just me. It's driving me crazy. I am so frustrated. I have uninstalled and reinstalled my app so many times. I've rebooted my phone, tried everything I could possibly think of, and it's still not working. The frustrating thing is that it works on the regular Facebook app, just not on Pages, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, we'll just make do for this week, and hopefully by next week it'll all be fixed, right? Okay, so these are the 3 projects we're going to make. I'm going to show you quickly where you can find this product. So this is part of the coordination product release, okay? This is not in any catalog. This is a special flyer that is only while supplies last, okay? So if you have not got your hands on this flyer, you can go to my blog and download it. They're also available just on the Stampin' Up! Website. You can see all the products. The DSP, as always, is not shown terribly nicely on the flyer. So I'm going to show you the actual DSP up close and personal so you can see it. It is a fantastic DSP. I absolutely love this. I have been playing with it nonstop for the last week. So let me show you the patterns that we get. Now, all of the patterns on the DSP coordinate with different punches, okay? So you've given up. Good for you, Tamara. I'm so OCD that I want everything to be perfect. So eventually I will make it work somehow. Okay. Hi, Gail. How are you? Hi, Jen. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so let me show you this paper. So this is the first pattern. It is umbrellas, and we are going to use that on our first project today. It coordinates with the umbrella builder punch. Okay, super cute punch. And then we have hearts. We are going to use that one today as well. And that coordinates with the heart punch pack. I'm just going to not drop my paper here. So these 2 come in a bundle, okay? And this particular heart coordinates with these. Now you can certainly punch with these ones as well. You will get a scallop border around your hearts instead of just a plain border, okay? So that's the hearts. Get them out of the way. And then next we have these fun little flowers, okay? These little blossoms. They coordinate with the Celebration Blossom Punch. Okay, and then we finally have the tulips, and these are my very favorite. I love tulips. Hey, Ann, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good week. And the tulips coordinate with the tulip builder punch. Okay, so all of these are super quick and easy to create projects just by punching out these stamped image or these printed images. Now, if you don't have these punches, you certainly could fussy cut these images. Okay, you don't have to invest in $100 worth of punches to use this DSP. Okay, you could absolutely just take your snips and cut these out. The tulips are really easy. The hearts are super easy. The umbrella's not so bad. The flowers are a little bit trickier to fussy cut, but still totally doable. Okay, so that is the DSP. It is gorgeous, and it's only, what is it, 15 bucks here? 15 something? $15.75 here in Canada for a pack of DSP. You get 3 of each of those sheets that I showed you. Now, I should show you that on the back side, we have other patterns, right? All of our DSP is double-sided. So on the back of the umbrellas, most appropriately, we have raindrops. And then on the back of the hearts, we have this adorable pink gingham. On the back of the blossoms, the little flowers, we have rainbow. And then on the back of the tulips, we have this beautiful granny apple green stripe. Okay, so neutrals on one side, awesome punchable images on the other, and we're going to use it to make 3 fun projects. I said we were going to do this one first. I lied. We're going to do this one first. Hey, Irene. You had to get the umbrella punch. I love it, Heather. Okay, so look at how cute this baby card is. This is, I think, my favorite baby card I've ever made. I absolutely love this. So I use some of the heart paper. So the hearts are not just for Valentine's Day, right? So I decided that I would make a baby card with this. So I cut 3 out of those hearts. So let me just show you what I did. Okay, so conveniently to me, this half the paper is for girl babies, and this bottom half the paper is for boy babies. Now, you could totally mix it up. I am not, you can do whatever you want, but I just think, okay, those 3 are perfect for a little baby girl card. So that's what I made here. Okay, baby girl card. Today, we are going to make a baby boy card. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same layout, but we're going to make a baby boy card. So I'm going to set this one aside and pull out all my bits. This is going to go really quickly because I did the stamping ahead of time, and I'll explain why. The only stamping on this is the sentiment, okay? Just the hello baby there. And the reason that I did my stamping ahead of time is because I die cut one of these labels and tried stamping on it after I die cut it, and it was hopelessly off center because I don't think my stamp is centered. So I gave in and I stamped and die cut it ahead of time, so it's done. Okay. All right. So to start, this is a piece of the DSP, okay, so I used the bottom half of the sheet this time to get my baby boy colors. And when you cut this, the dimensions are a little weird. It's not an exact measurement. I'll just bring in my trimmer for a second and show you. I honestly just eyeballed it, okay? So when I cut it, and I will put the exact dimension on, it's like a 16th of something when I put the instructions up. But when I cut this, I basically looked at it. So I looked at my second row. I wanted both rows of these hearts here, right? So I kind of lined this up, and then I closed up my trimmer, and I looked at where that cutting track was going to go. And that's a little bit too close, so I moved it over a little bit more. And I think I did it right there, which is 2 1/16 less than 3/4, which is 11/16. Yes, 2 11/16. Okay, I don't like measuring in 16ths, but that's essentially what I did in order to get that strip centered. Okay, so just a little heads up when you're cutting if you are trying to maximize your little hearts on there. Okay. All right, so back to this. So here I have my strip. I'm going to get all these little bits out of the way. And then I apparently am addicted right now to this stitch scallop border die. So this is from the Be Mine or Stitched Be Mine Stitched dies. They were in last year's mini, and they carried over to the annual, and they cut this adorable little scalloped border with the stitching along it. Okay, so everything that I've made of late has had this particular die cut on it, and I don't foresee that changing anytime soon because for some reason I just have decided that every single project needs to use that particular die. So all I'm doing is taking and applying a little bit of adhesive to the long edge of my DSP. I'm going to do that on both sides. And apply my little die cut. See, look, it's cut out of scrap. It's great. You can use these little edge pieces and just use scrap from whatever's lying. It was basically lying next to my Big Shot. Hi, Karen. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so I've glued this. I'm just going to take and trim it so that it is flush with the edge of my DSP. Okay, I always cut my edge pieces a little bit longer than I need them. Then I don't have to worry about trying to get them perfectly lined up when I'm gluing them. It's just as easy to trim them after the fact. Now, of course, I could use my mini trimmer, but that is not here. It is out in my display in my studio right now. Okay, so here I have another piece of that awesome DSP. This is the Tulip Pattern. Okay, so on the back we have this awesome stripe. It's a granny apple green. And we're going to go ahead and center that on that DSP piece. So this is cut to 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to put a little bit of adhesive. This is so hard to stay right smack in the middle of my viewfinder. I'm trying very hard to stay centered in this very little area. It's frustrating. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. it is going to go about 1/2 inch from either edge. Okay, it's going to center it about 1/2 inch. All right, there we go. You with me? Pretty simple. Okay, so now I'm going to set this aside. I have a scalloped heart that I punched using the builder dies. Okay, this is punched from crushed curry cardstock. And oh no. How dare he interrupt while you're watching, Heather. And then I punched another little heart from this same DSP. Okay, I decided the flowers were not so appropriate for a little boy, so I'm going to use the stripes instead. So I'm just going to take and add a little bit of adhesive to my punched DSP heart. And we're going to pop that onto the punched scallop one. Okay, then we are going to go ahead and pop this up on the front of our card. Now, before I do that, this is from, do you know what these are from? These adorable little felt pieces. These are from the Arts and Crafts embellishment kit that is in the annual catalog. And in it, you know what made me think of it, are these adorable little trinkets that say made with love. How perfect is that for a baby card? And then I started playing with all these felt bits and went, oh, it's too cute. So we're going to add a little felt scallop there before we glue our DSP heart on there. And the easiest way to glue these is with a glue dot. You got to press really hard to get them to stick to the felt. Okay, just a heads up. You got to really press to get them to adhere. And we're going to glue that just sort of along the bottom point of that heart on the DSP. And then we're going to pop that up on there like that. So cute. Oh, the die, Heather, sorry, I forgot to mention, it is from the Be Mine Stitched dies. It was last year, they were from last year's Occasions catalog, and they had a whole bunch of different stitched hearts in the same die set. Okay, so that's where you will find that die. Okay, so we're going to glue that right over top of the heart on the DSP like that. Okay, now I'm going to glue this onto my card base before I put anything else on. So this is Thick Whisper white cardstock. It's 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. We'll fold it in half along our score line. If I sound like I'm in a rush today, it's because I have to literally fly out the door as soon as I am done this video to get to Kitchener for a meeting that starts at, well, it technically starts at 5:30. I won't be there at 5:30. I'll probably be there closer to 6, fashionably late. But I couldn't leave you guys hanging, right? I can't not do my live. So, and I can't do it any earlier because I don't get home from work until 4 o'clock. So, you know, it is what it is. Today's one of those kind of days. So we're going to go ahead and glue this DSP panel onto the front of our card. Okay. It's already adorable. I don't even need to do anything else. Okay. So then I have our cute little Hello Baby, and I forgot to bring a marker over here. What I will probably do after the fact, like I did on my sample, is just color in the little heart. So I'll color it in with a crushed curry Stampin' Up marker just to have it pop out and stand out a little bit. So we're going to center that little label right about there. Okay. And then I didn't have, well, I have another one of these little trinkets, but then I found these other little cute little guys here. So I'm going to actually add them onto my DSP because why not, right? They're adorable little felt. Thanks, Deb. I love doing my lives. I love connecting with you guys. And I love stamping with you. So I miss it when I don't do a live. I make sacrifices for my family on holidays. So that, you know, my attention isn't divided. But honestly, I really love doing these videos. It is highlight of my week, honestly. And I love reading your comments. And I love just chit-chatting with you guys. So thanks for putting up with the portrait orientation today. I'm hoping it's fixed by next week. I think if enough Stampin' Up! Demonstrators harass Facebook, they will finally get the message. We shall see. Okay, so then I have this cute little star. We're going to add that just in the upper corner because I thought the little flowery thing was a little bit too girly. Aw, I'm glad it's the highlight of your week, Heather. Thank you. That makes me feel great. Okay, and then we're going to add a bit of twine. I got to grab my twine because it's on my other desk. Here it is. Oh, come here. Okay, so we're going to do a little twine bow. So this is your one and only bow tying lesson today. So this is my no bunny ear twine bow. Okay, so this is a smaller knot. So I'm just making one loop. Okay, I have a tail hanging off to the left. I'm going to take that tail, wrap it around, and pull it through. So there's no actual knot in this bow. Okay, and that's just so that it's less bulky when you are tying it. If you did the 2 bunny ears like I usually do with my ribbon bows, you would find that it's quite bulky and it doesn't look quite as nice with the twine. Okay, so now I'm going to take and roll a glue dot into just a little glue booger here. And we're going to pop it right on the loop on that little trinket. I'm hoping that shows that you guys can see that. And then I'm going to take and just press the knot, or well, the non-knot, the joint of my bow into that little glue bugger, and that's going to look like it's tied on there. Okay, it's way easier than actually trying to fuss with tying it on that little tiny trinket. So then I'm going to press the whole thing into a glue dot and then press it onto my little felt star there, just like that. And that's it. Like, how cute is that? Hey, Debbie, how are ya? Isn't that adorable? So there's our boy card, and there's our girl card. I don't know if I can show both of them at once. I don't think I can. Maybe if I go really close together. Girl, boy, same DSP pack. Okay? You like those? All right, moving on. Because I have a really fun project to show you at the end, and I want to make sure I get to it. So, moving on. This is another quickie. So, this one uses the umbrella DSP and the coordinating punch. Okay, so I've already gone ahead and pre-punched everything here. The only thing that I'm stamping on this card is the sentiment. Okay, oh, I'm glad you guys like those. Thank you. I love the hearts. That makes me feel good. All right, so let's dump out all our bits and pieces here. I have to be careful because I got little umbrella handles I don't want to lose. So let's talk for a minute about DSP. So this is the umbrella DSP, okay? It's raindrops on one side and umbrellas on the other, okay? It's really hard to sacrifice the raindrops when I'm punching the umbrellas because I love the raindrops too. Okay, so now I have some more of that green stripe that I used on the previous card, okay? And believe it or not, dun 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 dun, there's that scallop stitch border punch again. I told you I was addicted to it. So just like we did on the last card, every card I make now, I look at it and I'm like, nope, it needs a scallop stitch border. It's kind of sad. So I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing I did on the last card. So add a little bit of adhesive to the back of my DSP. And we are going to just adhere that somewhat straight. Okay. And then I'm going to trim off the excess again. And again, when you are using this border, I really suggest that you cut it just a little bit longer than you need because it's much easier to get it straight without having to worry about lining up the ends too. Okay, and then you just trim it off to clean it up. Okay, all right. So there is our DSP. We're gonna go ahead and glue that onto the raindrop DSP. So this is 4 by 5 1/4 inches. Okay, this one is 1 3/4. I want to say, I think it is. Yes, 1 3/4 by 4. Okay, so 1 3/4 by 4 is that piece. We're going to go ahead and glue that onto our larger panel. And I did it about 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. So right about there. Okay, and again, using the grid paper, it is your friend to help you get that straight. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do our stamping. So here I have a little stitched rectangle. So this is from the So Sweetly Stitched or Stitched So Sweetly. I can never remember the order that name goes in, but it's a new set of dies from the mini. And it has several different sizes of stitched rectangles, and these are utterly adorable. I love the label as well on the last card was from that as well. Awesome set of dies. So I am using a sentiment from the Under My Umbrella stamp set, which coordinates with the punch, the umbrella punch. It says, rain or shine, you're always on my mind. So I'm going to go ahead and just stamp that, hopefully straight and hopefully somewhat centered. There we go. Oh, and I just put my finger in the ink. This is what happens when you're trying to brush. Okay, so there is my stamp sentiment. Now we're going to assemble some umbrellas. So when you use the umbrella builder punch, you can punch 3 different things at the same time. So you have to be careful and punch carefully when you're punching out of the DSP, okay? Because you only want to get the part that you want to punch, right? Without destroying the rest of the DSP. So what I do is I take and rough cut around the image with my scissors and then go ahead and punch, okay? So I have the full umbrella. So I'm going to take my handle, which is also punched with that same punch, and I'm going to go ahead and glue that onto my umbrella. Look how cute that is. So cute. And then, oh, did I forget? Oh, no, there it is. For a minute, I thought I forgot one of my handles. And then I have this cute little green handle, but I'm not going to glue this one on. I'm going to show you a little trick with that one in a second. And then I have another one for my partially closed umbrella here. So we're going to go ahead and glue that one on as well. Okay. Okay. So then this one is going to get glued onto our little sentiment label there, just at a bit of an angle. So I'm going to add just a little bit of adhesive to that. And we're going to pop it on right about there. Okay. This one, we're going to glue behind that label. Now, we want to make sure when we're going to glue this on that we glue it so that this is not sticking too far off, right? If it's sticking off the edge, we're not going to be able to get our card in our envelope. So I want to make sure when I glue this that it's, it's at enough of an angle that it can be off the edge a little bit, but not too far. So again, I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive there. And I'm just going to position this kind of where I want it to go, so that when I glue it on, let me angle this a little bit more. There we go. We're going to glue that right about there. Okay. And then I can go ahead and add my handle. And I'm actually going to glue my handle down below because the handle is really a little bit short. I wanted it to extend a little bit further. So I'm going to glue it down hanging at the bottom of my label. And it's going to look like it's still attached to the umbrella, even though it technically isn't. So we'll just add a little glue dot there. And we'll kind of pop that on there. So that's going to go on like that. Okay, couple of dimensionals to put that on. Whew, got more for 2 for 1 there, more than I bargained for. We'll get rid of our backings. And then we're going to pop this right on here. Now, I want to make sure that my actual label is straight, right? The umbrellas can be cockeyed, but I want my label to be straight. Okay, so they're extending just a little bit, but not so much that they're not going to fit in my envelope. Okay, and then this last one is going to kind of be floating up here like this. All right, so I'm going to add a couple more dimensionals here. And then I'm going to take and roll a glue dot to put under the handle because it's going to overlap on my label there, and I want it to stay put without kind of flopping around. So we're just going to add just a little glue booger there to the handle. And we'll get rid of our backings. And then that's going to go on right about there, like that. Okay, so cute. And then this is going to go onto our card base. Again, I have a thick Whisper White card base, 4 1/4 by 11, scored in the middle at 5 1/2, exact same dimensions as the last card. And we're going to go ahead and add a bit of adhesive to the back of our DSP panel. And we're going to pop that onto the front of the card. Now, I'm going to show you something that I did. I'm not going to take the time to do it right now. I'll show you how I did it because it takes a little while and I don't have time. But that's the finished card, except I don't know if it shows. Can you guys see the shine on these raindrops if I kind of angle it that way? Does that show? Yeah, it does. So what I've done is I actually took some of the fine tip glue and applied some of it to each one of the raindrops, and it makes them look glossy so that it looks like they're wet. Okay, so to do that, I'll just do one to show you. So you just basically take your fine tip glue and you just squirt a little on, and I don't squirt the whole time. I just get a little bit going and then just kind of move it around on so I fill in the whole raindrop like that. And then you have to let it sit to dry. Okay, but when you're done, you get this really cool look. So it looks like they're actually wet. They're glossy. Okay, so that's just a little tip, a little extra use for your fine tip glue, that you can add that sort of glossy accent to your cards. Okay, hey Sue, how are you? All right, so I've got the Florida contingent here today. Everybody from Florida's watching. I'm sure it's way warmer there than it is here. Okay, so that is that one done. Now I'm going to show you my favorite. I love this last one. So this cute little flower pot card is actually more than a card. It's actually a gift card holder. So it slides right out, and there is our gift card. Of course, I have, well, come on, slide out of there. I pushed it in too far and it caught on the adhesive. Come on. There we go. I have a Tim Hortons card because, well, I'm Canadian and I like my coffee. So that just tucks in there. And then you slide your insert in and you have a cute little surprise gift card holder. Isn't that sweet? So I'm going to show you how to make this. It's really, really simple. Okay. I might not take the time to put all of my tulips on here because I, as I said, have to get to this meeting, but I want to show you how to build it. Okay. So to start, you need a piece of crumb cake cardstock. It is cut to 4 by 8.5 inches. Okay, so you can take your full sheet of 8.5 by 11, cut it on the 8.5 side at 4 inches, and you can get 2 of these out of 1 sheet of cardstock, and then you have enough left over for your insert as well. Okay, so 4 by 8.5, and then we're going to do a little bit of scoring. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And we are going to score. You're not going to be able to see the end of my scoring, but you're going to have to take my word for it. I am scoring at 3.5. So 3.5 and 7. Okay, 3.5 and 7. I'll get this out of the way. We're going to need that again in a second. Now, so I have there's my 1.5 inch section and my 2 3.5 inch sections down here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to fold in that bottom fold, that bottom score line. Okay, so now I still have that small, the narrower one at the top. Okay, then I'm going to take my ruler and a pencil, and along that bottom fold, make sure I'm doing this so you can see, I'm going to measure in 1/2 inch on either side. So I'm just going to put a little pencil mark there and a little pencil mark there. Okay, so I have a pencil mark at 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. Okay, so far so good. Next, I'm going to come in again with my trimmer. I keep putting this up upside down. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to insert this into my trimmer. I'm going to line up that little 1/2 inch pencil mark with the top where the end of this, where the score line is. Okay, so you see how there's that little score line there and this folds over. I'm going to line up that corner with my little 1/2 inch pencil mark there. Okay, so I'm lining them up with the cutting track. I'll take and cut. And the cool thing about this new trimmer is it'll cut 2 layers of cardstock, no problem. Okay, so there's one side. I'm going to do the same thing on the other. So I'm going to put my 1/2 inch pencil mark and the top of where my score line is. And again, I'm going to cut. And that gives me my flower pot shape. Okay, that gives you the taper for the flower pot. So far, so good. Pretty simple, right? Then we're going to go ahead, flip that over, fold that last little flap over. And there is the shape of your flower pot. Okay, so now I'll show you what I did with that. I went to my Big Shot and I embossed using the subtle embossing folder. So I'm not sure how well that shows up, but basically you're going to put it in the folder so that the edge of the folder lines up with that score line. You can see I did it a little crooked there, but it's not going to matter because I can hide it. So subtle embossing folder, I did it with it folded shut. So it's going to emboss both sides. Okay. Then I went over to my, you got it, stitch scallop die, and I did a decorative edge on my, my flap there. So when I fold this over, I get that cute little decorative flap. Okay, pretty simple, right? Right. Okay, so now this is the only hard part about this, is gluing this shut. So you're going to open it up and you're going to need some strong adhesive. So tear and tape is my preference. Now, this is important. You want to put your tear and tape so it is only halfway onto the cardstock. Okay, the tear and tape is a little bit too wide, so that, because I need to be able to fit my gift card in there, right? So if I put the tear and tape on so it's right flush with the edge, it's going to be too much adhesive and I won't be able to slide my insert in and out. Okay, so you're putting it on so that it is extending off the edge. Okay, and then we're going to get rid of that back. Actually, no, we won't do that yet. We're going to put the other side on first. Okay, so same thing on this side. So only half the tape on the paper. And rip off the roll. Okay, so then we're going to peel off our backing. Come on, work with me. There we go. And then this piece that's extending off, you're just going to fold it over on itself. Okay, so now I've got a really narrow strip of adhesive there. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Come on. Okay, we'll fold it over on itself. And this little bit here that's extending, I'm going to get rid of as well. Okay, so now I have that narrow bit of adhesive. Now I can go ahead and fold my card shut and just burnish that really well to make sure it's adhered. Okay, now I have my little pocket for my gift card insert. Okay, this I'm going to just glue down. I'm going to put just a bit of fast fuse on there and stick that down flat. Okay, easy, right? That's the hard part, done. All right, now to do the insert for our gift card, you are going to need a piece of crumb cake cardstock that is 2 3/4 inches wide by 4 3/4 long. 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. Okay. Then, now this piece is not necessary. I like to have a layer to have my gift card laying against. You could totally do it with just this. You do not need this piece. Okay. This is just a matter of preference. I thought it would be nice to add this in case I wanted to stamp a sentiment or write a little message in behind the gift card. So this is optional if you want to use it. This white piece is 2.5 by 4.5. 2.5 by 4.5. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and glue that on. I'm not going to take the time to stamp on that right now, but we're going to center it on that crumb cake piece. Okay. Then this little guy, oh, look at that. I got fast fuse stuck to my finger and now I got paper stuck to my fast fuse on my finger. Okay. This little piece is 2 3/4. Okay, so same width as this by 1.5. All right, and remember how I said when you were cutting your 4 by 8.5 inch piece, you could cut 2 and then you had some excess. This is what you use your excess for. Okay, so this is going to be the little pocket that our gift card tucks into. All right, now we're going to do the same deal with the tear and tape. I'm not going to take the time to do it with tear and tape. I'm actually going to do it with fast fuse right now just because I'm in a rush. If you don't have fast fuse, tear and tape, same way, half on, half off, okay, because you don't want too wide a pocket. And with the fast fuse, you got to just kind of get rid of all the sticky little stringies there. And then this is going to get glued right flush with the bottom edge and the 2 sides. And that's going to form your pocket for your gift card. Okay, your gift card's going to tuck in there like that. Okay, I got to get rid of all the sticky, or if I put this in, it's not going to come out. There we go. Okay, that's my excess fast fuse coming off there. Much tighter if you use tear and tape. Okay, all right, so then this will slide into your little flower pot. Okay, you're going to push it in straight down. Okay, and you're going to have about 1.5 inches showing at the top. And this is where you're going to arrange your tulips. So I have punched just a bunch of tulips. I think I use 4, 7, 9 tulips. Odd numbers look better. And all I did is I just started arranging them and sticking them down. So it's best if you kind of get them arranged first. So I did 3 on the top here. And then I added, let's do one of these guys a little bit lower. And I did 4 of these guys. So let's do one. What do we need here? We'll do one of these, 2. And what do I want to do? We'll do another pink. 3. And we'll do a yellow. These guys here. Okay. And then these ones I actually added afterwards. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and glue these on real quick. I'll use a little bit of Twine Bow because it'll be faster. And as I'm gluing these on, I'm going to add some leaves as well. Okay, so we're just going to take a little bit of glue, stick that on, and then a little bit of glue at the base of our tulip, and we're going to pop that on right about there. So I find with these, it's easiest if you kind of leave everything laid out and then just glue them on one at a time. Okay, that's the way I found I get the best arrangement. Don't be afraid to flip your punched leaves upside down so you get your leaves looking not all uniform. You don't want them all to look exactly the same. And then again, we'll add a little bit of glue. You don't need a lot of glue to glue these on. They're stuck to my work surface here. And again, we're going to tuck that in behind. Just kind of like that. And then you're going to keep going. Okay, so that back row is glued flat. This row, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and glue this on because I'm going to show you how to do that front row. So again, you can use partial leaves. These are punched from the edge of the DSP, so don't waste those. They're perfectly good leaves. You don't see what the bottom of it is anyway, so it doesn't matter if it's not an entire leaf. So don't waste them. So we're going to pop this guy in behind here like that. Okay, now this front row I actually popped up, and there was a method to my madness. The reason that I popped them up is so that I could tuck that gift card in underneath them, so it wasn't visible when I had them stuck into my pot there. Where are my dimensionals? There they are, hiding underneath my basket. So I just added one dimensional not right to the bottom, because again, I remember how I said I want to be able to pop or tuck the gift card underneath. So I'm going to put my dimensionals right about there. And then we're going to kind of pop these on. So one. And we'll add another one. A little bit of glue. Oops, I did that the wrong way. Okay, we're going to have it coming up the front. That doesn't matter. We will add another dimensional or two. Get rid of our backings and pop that on. Okay, and you're going to work across. So that front row is going to be all dimensionaled. Okay, and then at the back, I had actually just this many, and then I decided that wasn't enough. So I went ahead and added a couple more, and I literally just tucked them in after the fact, okay, to build it up at the back. And that's it, okay? So you're just arranging your tulips, adhering them. Middle row is glued flat to your insert. Front row is popped with dimensionals, okay? And then this back row I just tucked in with a couple of glue dots after the fact, okay? Just to add a little bit more height to it, okay? So far, so good. The last couple of touches here, I'm not going to worry about gluing on the rest of those tulips right now. You're going to add your label. So these are, again, cut with those same adorable dies that I used, that have the stitched rectangles in, I used on the last card. Okay, so there's a little bitty label, and then there's a next size up. This is cut from Whisper White. This is cut from Granny Apple Green. And I'm using the For You stamp from the Coordinating Stamp Set. Okay, so you can get that stamp set and die in a bundle, discounted for 10% off. And I'm going to stamp the For You in Crumb Cake ink on that little white label there. Okay. And then that's going to get glued onto my green label with a dimensional. And you only need one because it's a little bitty label. Thanks, Heather. I'm glad you like that. Hi, Claire. How are you doing today? So we're going to just pop that on there like that. Okay. And then a little bit of Tombow on the back of that, and we're going to pop that right onto the front of our flower pot. Fairly centered and fairly straight, kind of like that. Okay, and then the last touch is to add a little bit of this white flax ribbon. Now this ribbon to me it's kind of rustic but soft. It's not like burlap, it's really quite soft, and it ties really nicely. So this is one of the few times you're going to see me actually wrap something around and tie it. Usually I have all kinds of little cheater shortcuts, but because this is going to be visible from the back, I want to make sure that I'm using a full length of ribbon. So I'm just going to wrap that around, tie a square knot. There's a cat outside my door meowing. Does this fit in an envelope? Well, you know, Heather, if I had not added quite as many tulips, it would have. But I went a little tulip crazy, so I'm going to have to make my own envelope using my envelope punch board because I kind of went a little crazy. If I hadn't gone quite as wide and quite as high with my tulips, it would fit in a regular envelope. Okay, so I'll just put this against a regular card and you can see what I'm saying. So you see how I went just a little high here and a little wide. It would totally fit if you just control your tulip usage a little bit better than I did. Okay, it's just a teensy bit too high and wide, but normally it would if I hadn't been a little crazy. Okay, so I'm going to trim the tails on my ribbon here, and what I like to do when I have it is just take a little glue dot and tuck it under the knot so that it doesn't slip slide around, so it stays put. So we'll just tuck that under there and press that in, and then it's secure. Okay, so let me bring in the finished one with my full bouquet of tulips so you can see how I went really, really crazy. And yeah, there's no way that's fitting in a regular envelope. Okay. All right. I like lots of tulips too. Tulips are my favorite flower. My absolute favorite. And that's, I think, why I love this DSP so much, because I love tulips. So yeah, the more tulips, the better as far as I'm concerned. All right. Let me bring in all of the projects again. And I'm just I'll bring in both baby cards because I think they're both cute. I don't know if I can get them all in the screen at the same time, but we shall see. Get rid of all my junk here so you don't have to look at that. And let's see. There. I think that's the best I can do to get them all in there. Okay, you guys? All right, there you go. The Awesome Pleases Punch DSP, available only while supplies last. So if you haven't ordered it yet, order it soon because the stuff will sell out. It is awesome, awesome stuff. All right? Okay, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in today. Again, putting up with the portrait mode, and hopefully by next week, I will be back to normal. I'll be back to my usual 5 o'clock time slot next week. And in the meantime, have a fantastic week. Okay? Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.